Hey, what's going on everybody? Thanks for clicking on the video. This is Dave the Pendleton, and this is going to be our pro walkthrough for the opening round covering the front 9 wind on the Frosty Peaks tournament. You're going to get to see every single wind angle from hole number 1 through 9. And overall on this account, I'm pretty excited about that minus 15. That's going to put us in a really nice position if we can continue a hot streak to have a nice score for tiebreakers, especially picking up that albatross there on hole number 2. If this is your first time watching, or maybe you're not a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button for me. I would really appreciate that. And if you like the video, if you find it helpful, you can always hit the thumbs up button too. That only takes about half a second to accomplish, and it does mean a lot to me. All right, so let's go into hole number 1. Hole number 1 has been my nemesis in pro. It should be an easy hole, but it's just been getting the better of me. Of course, I get the birdie, but we really should be picking up the eagle on this hole and just learn from my mistake here. All right, 10% elevation on the drive. Pretty simple. Really, I just used too much topspin. If I would have laid off the topspin and not taken advantage of my extra mile 9, I would be in a better position to take shot number 2 with a thorn, which would be played at minus 10% elevation. But the thing that I want you to know is that on shot number 2, if you do get the distance like I do, I want you to notice here, I want you to play your wedge at 0% because the shot you're going to see me take is minus 10%. And if you're playing with your thorn, then you're going to want to keep it at a minus 10%. So I apply the backspin here and keep my ball guideline through the hole. But like I said, I play the shot uphill with my wedge with a minus 10% elevation. And that means I'm not pulling as many rings as I would if I would play it, let's say, at 0%. And therefore, I miss a shot to the right-hand side. So I need a little bit more ring pull. So if I would have taken the elevation back and made this 0% elevation, this shot would have dropped for an eagle. So if you take it with your wedge, long story short, play it straight up at no elevation. Brings us into hole number 2. Hole number 2, we do pick up an albatross. And you're going to see me here lay off the top spin. I only use 6 bars this time with 3 bars of left side spin. And you can definitely play this hole with, a Titan, a Katana, whatever you want. I'm only using a Kingmaker here because I want to reduce the wind on shot number 2. And you see me push back up to max. I'm using some overpower with about half of a ball of left curl. We do get that perfect ball, which is going to land us nicely on the fairway. And most importantly, it keeps us in sniper range. Sniper range, in my opinion, is the best club to take shot number 2 with. If you get too much distance, then you're going to be playing with your long iron. And a long iron from that far distance doesn't give you the best shot for an albatross. But here, you can see I'm playing this 20% elevation. And anytime I have these long range sniper shots, I always play heavy backspin. You're going to see me go 5 bars of backspin here. I believe it gives you the best ball control. I believe it gives you the best speed to pin. And I do leave my tip of my ball guideline just through the cup, as you see right there, kind of just peeking out the backhand of the hole. I play this one a little bit more than minimum distance of my sniper. You have to check your own club distance and see where you're at. That way you can have the most accurate shot. But you'll see here we take a couple bounces and then we finally get that smooth roll and we actually come in dead center. So with that backspin, the 20% elevation is dead on. Brings us into hole number 3. Now, one thing I want to tell you here about hole number 3 is this was my second opportunity at the hole. So I have 2 pro accounts and I flip-flop when I play. So on the second replay, you're going to see the hole in 1. On this one, you're going to see this hole plays a little weird. I do play at 20% elevation, and I play with max side spin to the right with 3 bars of backspin. And I'm trying to put my yellow ring here in the middle of this rough, kind of at the top of the rough line, okay? I think that gives you the best chance to make sure you have a good patch of rough to work with. And I'm really only showing you this replay because when I go to pull my rings, you see the trees get in the way, and I waste about 5 seconds or so there, and I end up having to push my rings instead of pull. I think that's important to note. I also want you to see that I am favoring the left-hand side of the cup on this shot. So my offset here is favoring the left-hand side just barely. But regardless, I push my rings here at 20% at max. I hit a perfect ball. And you see this come in with a good speed, but we just barely drop this one in. So I'm sorry, I misspoke. This is the hole-in-one. It's been a long day. I've been up since 5 a.m. trying to work on this. But I'll show you here. Here was my second attempt. Because I snuck that ball on the right-hand side of the cup, I tried to favor the left-hand side of the cup here, as you can see. And this time I was prepared. I knew I had to push my rings. Same 20% pull. We hit the rough, but this time we barely missed to the right-hand side. So, that could come down to something as simple as a pull angle or, something like that. But this hole's pretty consistent, and it provides you with a really good opportunity for a hole-in-one. Hole number 4, we pick up an extra eagle here. The thing about this one is we play 10%, and we want to get down as far down the second fairway as we can. But the thing that I don't want you to do is go nuts with the drive, okay? I don't want you to use too much overpower to where you hit the ball too hard and you clip the rough. Or let's say you make it off the first fairway, bounce to the second fairway, but maybe you roll into the sand or the rough down there. Keep your shot controlled. Most important thing is just to make sure that you do land on this second fairway, because that's going to give us the opportunity here for a really good eagle shot. Now, when we talk about shot number 2 is also played at 10% elevation. And the cool thing about this is my opponent went first, and he also took a shot with a thorn. And he missed to the right of the cup, but barely. He was aiming dead center. So I assumed that would happen to me as well. So you're going to see me here use backspin, and then you're going to see me favor the left-hand side of the cup, okay? So you see me right here. I'm favoring the left-hand side of the cup. And this is just me learning from my opponent's shot. We get a perfect ball, and look at that. We're dead center. So that might be one little note to remember when you get to hole number 4. This green might be rolling fast to the right, so just be very careful of that. Hole number 5. Hole number 5 is 20% elevation. I'm going with a Guardian at max backspin, and as you can see here, I put just a little bit of right side spin on the ball. And I'm trying to play it close to the hole, and my goal here is just to bounce beyond the pin and have it roll back into the cup. There's a sticky spot on the green that we always try to find in this tournament. And you're going to see that I find it, but I end up just messing with it too much to where my ball guideline hops around like that. So I find it, then it hops. I find it, then it hops. Ultimately, I should have just left it right at that sticky spot, because now you're going to see that my shot clock gets to 10, and now I'm pressed for time, and I'm trying to find that spot again. So ultimately, I have to just settle right here, which is too close to the cup. Now, I still pull at max distance, even though I'm not at max, and the 20% elevation. That always seems to be the trick on this hole, or the key to success. But unfortunately here, I just hit the pin. So the shot is too accurate. But that's okay. It rolls down. That's the easy putt for the birdie. Now you're going to see me play higher up on my other account. And this time I went with 1 bar of right side spin. Because it seems in tournament past, when we play higher up, we typically need to have more spin. Which is why I went with the 1 bar this time. Same 20% pull. Hit a perfect ball. So this is a really good consistent shot. Take a look at the landing spot and just take about half of a bar of right spin off. And that should put you a lot closer to the hole and maybe get in there for a hole-in-one. And ultimately, I do think this is a great chance for a hole-in-one, hole number 5. Hole number 6, the toughest one of the tournament, in my opinion. Again, I don't want you to do anything crazy on this drive. Just make sure that you bring the right wood club. Bring your wood club that's going to provide you the most power to give you the most distance on shot number 2. But I don't want you to go crazy with the overpower on this shot, because I don't want you to hit a nasty, great shot and end up in the rough. That would be worst case scenario on this hole. As long as you bring the right wood club, you're going to be okay on shot number 2 to get to the green. But the game doesn't give us any favors, as they're going to give us back-to-back headwind on this hole. But for here, I'm just going to apply full spin to the left. And I'm using a tad bit of topspin just to make sure that my ball guideline gets right there to that hump. And that hump is going to kick us down towards the green. You'll see me pull my rings at 10%. And when I go to pull, I go into a little bit of overpower, which is why I overpower this shot just a little bit and use about half a ball of curl to the left. We do hit the ball perfect. And as you can see, it takes a nice slope down there to the green and it lands in the hole. Or not in the hole, but onto the green, and we put the ball into the hole for the eagle. Brings us on to hole number 7. Now, hole number 7, I'm going to try to play this one a little bit differently, just because if you remember in the qualifying round, the green was rolling really fast on us. So I'm going to try to back up my approach here and do this hop from fairway to green. I'm not going to use any spin. And then again, you know, this is another opportunity here where I saw my opponent try to take the same shot, and he came into the left-hand side of the cup. And I thought, okay, well, maybe that makes sense since we're getting a straight crosswind from right to left. So here I'm using a little bit of an offset, and I'm playing 10% at medium distance of the sniper, which is 1 for 1. Okay, so you'll see me pull this 4.9 rings with using an offset. I still miss to the left-hand side. So what I would say is aim at the exact same spot as me, but play at 15% elevation, which is going to make you pull more rings to the right-hand side, which should get you a lot closer to the pin. So here, you'll see what I'm talking about. Now, the only thing about this is, you know, whenever I miss this shot, I just went into my notebook calculator app, and I just kind of typed in how many rings I'd have to pull at 15% at mid, and, you know, I think that would have been good for a hole-in-one, assuming that that speed comes in just like that. So that's my recommendation for this hole. Okay, hole number 8. So I just want to, you know, kind of remind everybody, like the way that I go about playing the tournaments is I go in blind, meaning I don't watch any other streamers. I try to do my own thing, and I really try to get the content up as fast as possible to help everybody out so you can see the wind angles. I was planning on playing this hole with the Kingmaker and laying up at the top and then taking a 30 to 40% elevated shot downhill. But I saw this nice tailwind here, so you'll see me swap out for a berserker, and I go full top spin with 1 bar side spin to the right. I push back up to max. I should have stopped right here with overpower, okay? But I really would have never thought in a million years that I would be able to drive this ball past the green, which is what you're going to see happen. I end up going with absolute full overpower, and I guess that was a mistake. I should have took a little bit of the overpower off, but again, I would have never thought this could have been the end result of this shot. I wish I would have clipped the rough. But there you go. Now, I want you to notice, though, that that shot ends up being almost 8 mile per hour wind. Now, take a look at my next account. So this time I'm only getting 6 mile per hour wind, so I decided to try it again. And I'm doing the same thing. Push back up to max. I do take a little bit off the overpower, as you can see. And somehow I hit back-to-back perfect shots with going this approach. And you see how nicely this comes in. I mean, that's pretty awesome to get down there onto the fringe on this hole, and we pick up an easy eagle. Now, you know, the one thing I would say, though, is I'm a little nervous because that shot that went out of bounds, that account now is going to be in trouble for making the next cut. So send some good vibes my way. I need a big back nine on that account to get back into the ball game because I'm minus 12 at the turn, and that stinks. But this account, we're minus 15. Now, hole number 9, I'm going to tell you this. If you use money balls on pro, this would be a really good opportunity to use one, especially getting this type of headwind. So what would I do? Well, first, you're going to see me play the hole with the Kingmaker. I have no problem getting the eagle, and we have no problem lining up for an albatross. But This would be one hole I'd recommend if you have a Wind 5 or Wind 4, Power 4, Power 5 ball. I would go ahead and use that on this hole. I would let it rip, because you're going to see here that when we go my 10% elevation, I use all over power. I hit a perfect ball, and we go 381 yards. But look at this. I got the trees in the way. And the trees is no problem using a Kingmaker because I have all this side spin, okay? But when you go full side spin at an albatross shot at full distance, the accuracy and the technicality of that is so difficult because your ball is just going to kick around and it's really going to aggressively roll on the side spin, which is why you're going to see me miss this to the right-hand side. So if the trees were not in my way, if I would have used a money ball, I could have made this shot a lot better than using all this side spin. But you can see here, you can still get there with the Kingmaker. We're not even at max distance of our sniper. We still have a few yards to go. And we have no problem getting down here to the green and getting this thing close to the hole. So that's what I would say. There's pro front 9. I'll work on pro back 9 after this. But this is my second time working on this video. The first one didn't upload with sound. I have no idea why. But anyways, please subscribe and please hit that thumbs up. Thank you.